Do you think immigration has a positive effect on the economy, or is it the cost of keeping immigrants more expensive?
Okay. So the Labour Party stance obviously on this is we think immigration is a good thing. We think that multiculturalism is a great thing, and what better place to say that than Leicester, the home of multiculturalism. And taking all the immigrants together, collectively, they put more into the economy than they take out, collectively. Now, I'll appreciate there will be stories that people will have about individual cases, but if you take immigration as a collective, they do actually contribute more to the economy than they take out of it, and I think that's a good thing. I think it's a good thing that we are a country that is fair for people and that welcomes people, but there is a problem with immigration. I think the massive problem with immigration is the undercutting of wages. We think it's wrong that companies only advertise for jobs in Polish or in Lithuanian or only advertise them to foreign workers. We think that's wrong. We'd abolish that. We'd also think it's wrong that when they get here, they are not paid the minimum wage, and the person that has brought them over takes their wages from them and puts them six to a house. We think that's disgusting. We think that's wrong. So there is problems with immigration, but those problems are on a human level. We don't think anyone should be treated like that, and we don't think it's fair that big businesses shipping workers, undercutting British workers. That's not what we're about. We're about a fair playing field for everybody to compete in, and if you're going to undercut wages, obviously they're going to win, and we're going to ban that. We think that's appalling, and we're going to clamp down on that sovereign government, because that's what's stopping business thriving, and that's what's causing a divide when there doesn't have to be one.
Thank you. I was going to say that immigration is absolutely a net benefit to our economy, and don't let anyone else tell you otherwise. And I think the damaging rhetoric used by UKIP and others on this matter is absolutely shameful and should be stopped. I think it's easy, isn't it, to demonise the other, whatever the other is, be it immigrants, be it some other rhetoric that we use, including from the Labour Party, has to be said, of feckless people on benefits. It's all about demonising the other. It's all about trying to get people to take the focus away from government and government policies and holding politicians to account. And so, I really wish that, maybe our representative here from UKIP will explain why they do this, that they'd stop demonising immigration, when immigration is not only a net economic benefit to our economy, but a net cultural benefit to our economy as well.
Yeah, as ever you get this sort of, they put words in my mouth. What I'd say is it's a good example of what immigration. I'm the son of an immigrant. I've grown up in Leicester all my life. I went to Lanky Boys down the road. So I have a different life experience to these people from the sticks. I'll give you an example of what immigration's done to a friend of mine. He's a lorry driver. 8 years ago he was getting £12 an hour, temping as a driver, driving Arctics. He's now getting sort of 8.5 to 9. And that's the reality of unlimited immigration from the EU. UKIP's not against immigration. That's what they all portray, because they don't want to discuss the issues of the EU and other issues that we raise.
We hear your leader's rhetoric, and that is what he says.
Do you mind?
I'm challenging you.
Well, challenge me afterwards.
Our friends here won't hear it if I challenge you afterwards.
Well, alright, well, I'm sure she'll give you some time.
Okay.
But that's the point, and that's the effect it's had on my mate's life. Now, inflation's been at 3%. And let me tell you, the banking classes in London, they love low inflation during the bubble years, because all this immigration, all unlimited immigration did was keep inflation down. And that was great because they could keep interest rates down and keep printing money and keep blowing up the bubble in the economy in London. Now the reality is the worm's turned, the economy's going down, we've got deflation coming in, and all these people, like friends like mine, have been suffering effectively a 25% cut in his wages. But on top of that, he's been hit by inflation as well over the previous 5 years. So in real terms, his wage has gone down a lot. Now, you tell him that unlimited immigration works, and it doesn't. We need a points-based system, or at least to limit the numbers coming in. And there's a lot of social issues as well, in terms of schooling, in terms of education, GP surgeries. Leicester's a hotbed of immigration, always has been and probably always will be. And if you're going to have unlimited immigration, say, yep, you can come in tomorrow, and 500,000 people turn up, you've got to give us the money for the schools and the hospitals. You can't just give us the people who need looking after, and then say, we'll just do it out of your budget. Well, no, we can't. You know, we got people who want to send the kids to school, and that's what these parties won't talk about. It's okay to sit in the sticks and tell Leicester, here's 50,000 people, house them, give them a free education, give them free healthcare, and then not give us any more money. And that's what they're telling you is going to happen, and it won't work. And that's why the GP surgeons are suffering. But I mean, I'll give someone else some time, because I get, you know, sort of quite worked up when I get attacked, you know what I mean?
Just challenge.
Thank you. Well, I'm the son of an immigrant, born in Leicester, lived in Leicester all my life. I'm proud to be from Leicester, I'm proud to be British, but I don't lose my Indian heritage. Immigration, as my Labour and Liberal Democrats colleagues said, is a benefit to this country. They pay more in taxes than they take in benefits, and that's a proven fact. Let me ask you one question. What's the crown jewel of this country? NHS. It would not run without immigrants. It's a literal fact. You take the immigrants out of the NHS and you ain't going to have anything left. Apart from obviously when the Tories aren't trying to privatise it.
I'm on this panel representing the Conservative Party, but also representing myself and my view. And for me, immigration has been in this country for centuries. My wife is Lithuanian, and immigration does bring benefit to this country. You can see it all around you. What doesn't bring benefit to this country is immigration that's illegal. Because they're the people that come in under the radar. And why people are advertising jobs in Polish or other languages is because the local people, and I'll say this because I know it, because the employers employ people to, often they're picking fruit in fields or they're doing other jobs. Local British people don't want to do the jobs, so they just shortchange their advertising and go straight for the Polish or straight for the immigrant. That's why people are advertising. That's a change in the marketplace of the employment at that level. Immigration, if you were to speak to my wife, who's an immigrant, she hates the way this country opens the door too wide. And yes, people are using the health service, and yes, people are using and draining this country. But we live currently in a European Union. So the monies that come into the European Union are shared amongst and throughout that European Union. If you were in Spain and needed treatment, that country would support you. It's part of the EU. That's a different discussion, and others would have that discussion perhaps later or perhaps around the tables. But immigration, for me, is a positive thing for this country. It's the illegal immigration that is a burden. And it's the burden on the society that's creaking the health service.
Comment from the audience? Anybody want to ask a question? Yes, please.
Some families move over here for the better to school their children. I mean, what if the cure of a terminal illness is trapped in a child's mind who can't afford education? So you saying we should just shut the doors for all immigrants to move over here?
Sorry, were you asking somebody specifically, or were you just...
Yeah, the UKIP man.
So what was the actual question
I'm asking, so are you saying to shut the doors for all immigrants to move over here? Because what if the cure of a terminal illness is trapped in a child's mind who cannot afford education?
Yeah, the thing is, UKIP's not against immigration at all. It's in favour of sort of points-based immigration, just assessing what's needed and what we can cope with. We're not against immigration, full stop. We're just in favour of controlled immigration. And part of that is leaving the EU because of the freedom of movement. You can have massive movements of peoples within a year, and it creates massive pressures on the local services. It does, and there's no point denying it. But yeah, we're not against immigration, full stop. We're in favour of immigration. It just should be managed. That's what we're saying.
Anybody else?
Right, yeah, there was me. Right, so you know how one or two people actually did come on to the comment of illegal immigration. How would you as a, well, to the panel, how would your particular party, if you was to come into power, put a stop to this?
How would you put a stop to illegal immigration? Matthew, do you want to start?
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for the question. I think it's important that whilst we attempt to do that, that we always treat people with respect and as human beings. I think the moment we stop doing that, we're in trouble. But of course, you know, we do need to prevent illegal immigration from happening. I must admit, you know, I'll be honest with you, I don't pretend to have the answers on how we best do that, because we are part of the EU, and I'm pro-EU, and we might come back to that later on. I think it brings us many benefits being part of the European Union, but one thing it does mean is that people can come here and we can go to other parts of the European Union. I've got an uncle who lives in Spain who has done for many years. So, you know, I don't think it's an easy answer, and I think those parties who try and tell you that it is an easy answer are lying to you.
You may have heard, I think it was a couple of years ago, there was a great problem in the border agency force. And clearly, you have to collaborate among European Union countries to identify routes into country. There's not only illegal immigration, there's tragically a lot of people and trafficking as well coming into the country, and that is horrific. But I would say you need to resource the border agencies. I don't know where the finance for that would come from, but it's at the border, and it's a collaboration of the other border from coming from, say, across the Channel. How you police it and collaborate with the French authorities, for example.
I mean, like everyone else is here, so we're not the Foreign Secretary, we don't have to make these kind of decisions, which is kind of nice for us because we don't have to work out how we're going to sort out the world's problems. But I think everyone around this table would want to make a stop to illegal immigration. I don't think anyone's pro people coming to the UK illegally. I just think we all want to deal with it in a slightly different way, and let's not get so aggressive. I think you can tell that we've got quite a male panel, that we just resort to tit-for-tat politics, Westminster bubble, shouting at each other when you guys are asking us genuine questions.
Yeah, similar to the Lib Dem's comment, I'm not going to pretend to know the answer to how you stop illegal immigrants. To be fair, you can put whatever information you want apart. I mean, if you stick guns on a fence, people are still going to get in. If you're determined enough to do it, you'll get in. So I'm personally not going to pretend to say there is a perfect answer. There are many things that we could try. There are many things that we shouldn't try because we know they're not going to work. Things like benefit sanctions, people think, oh, it's going to work. It doesn't work. People find loopholes.